Hey there, Math 112 fans. I'm going to give you a video just about how to be successful in the course, a little bit of help me, help you. We're kind of at this critical moment where we've had this long weekend. I received a lot of messages, and it's brought up this issue of, I think it's time for me to maybe give some advice, give some discussion about how to be a successful college student, how to appropriately correspond with your instructor. I think that's something I'm going to try here. I don't know how this is going to go. I'll post this on the discussion board, and I would love to have your feedback because there's certain things that are popping up that are making my life pretty hard. And I think if we could work together, it could make it better for all of us. And that's something I'm always trying to do. But anyways, I'll get to that in a second. So first, just a reminder of what you need to do to be successful in this course. It's really all about the homework. All about the homework. You should be spending a good chunk of time on the homework. I find when I look online, most people are spending, like a half an hour to an hour on homework a week, sometimes in two different chunks. You should spend a little longer than that, especially if you're worried about your grade. You should spend some time right after class when we discuss it. Then you should go to the lab and ask questions. Your focus should be on understanding. I know that feels like a lot, but that's like replacing reading and stuff you're doing for your other classes. It's just understand that homework. Don't leave the lab till you understand it. So it's a shift of focus. A lot of people are like emailing me because the homework, they lost 1 point on the homework. I have a bunch of policies where you can get points back at the end of the term, but that's the wrong focus. The focus should be on understanding because you're going to get more points on other things. But the other thing is really important you read my announcements and follow my advice. And that's something that is leading, that's going to go for any of your instructors. I think I'm more patient with this than some, but you might think differently. But I would say this weekend I probably got a dozen emails that had to do with homework extensions. And some have a long discussion. Some are kind of accusatory and say, hey, we need more time with this. And so there's all these tones of kind of argumentativeness that could have been prevented. I try to reply kindly to all of them, but it could have been prevented by just looking at the policies. So I would say I get this, we are upset, we want to reach out to somebody, but we don't need to have this negativity. Check the policies for your courses first. They're right there. The other thing to check, and those policies explain how you can miss some homework, you can miss a point here. So some people are arguing about whether they should have gotten 3 submissions on a multiple choice with 4 tries or something. And if you read these two things, you'd realize that none of that matters. And so it's not a good use of your energy. Okay, I hope check that out. The other thing is you should look at the module for the week. And again, I don't mean this negatively. I'm just trying to get us on the same page because this is becoming a really large part of my time is replying to questions like this. So a question I've gotten, several people posted on the discussion board, other people liked it, said, how do we study for the quiz? Would you please post some more material? And it appears those people aren't looking in the module. So in a given week, I'll always have practice. So you can just click on quiz 2 practice, and I say things like, here's a link with some videos, and here are the pages you need to practice. And so people that are worried about that, before you email me, I would expect you to look at that and then click on this and see that in the videos I actually tell you precisely what's going to be on this quiz. I'm not trying to surprise you. I also said it in class and in a course announcement. So I'm not trying to hide it. I feel like there's something going on where people just aren't seeing those things, or maybe I'm too accessible. I'm not sure. But I want us to get past that. And I want you to look at these resources. And I would say that's going to help you in all your courses. Okay. And then I should say, the material itself is not as much as people are thinking. I'm having people tell me, it's so much stuff. But as you're preparing for this quiz, it's these, if you just wanted a quick refresher, you could check out these review sheets. Now, I handed these 2 out in class, and I handed this one out in class. I didn't hand these 2 out, but these often have really quick reminders like, I'm having trouble with integration. There's some examples. Here's several examples where he does it. And I did that in class too. I'm having trouble with finding the plus C. Well, here's several examples that do that. It does require a little bit of work on your end to start your homework early enough to figure out where your troubles are. But I think between this and the discussion board and the lab, there are a sufficient number of resources to figure out your issues if you start soon enough. Okay, so that's one thing. In terms of quiz 2 advice, just to reiterate, I'm going to show one more thing here. So if you go to the discussion board, you'll see that I have a video where I talk about what's going to be on the quiz. I posted this a long time ago, many days ago. And then I say, in this one in particular, exactly what's on the quiz. I don't want this quiz to be a surprise at all. I know people are worried about their grades. So I made this to try to sort of ease you into our exam this next week. I have people message me and saying, it's not fair that we have a quiz one week and the exam the next week. But this is a little different when I tell you exactly what's on the quiz and you get a note sheet. I'm trying to get your studying starting. So there's this perception out there from a few people that are saying, oh, he's making us do too much. And I think it's just not kind of digging a little deeper. Okay, and that's what's going to need if you want to do a little better. Okay, so I hope that helps. You should be focusing now. If you haven't watched that video I just told you, which tells you what's coming, this quiz should not be stressful. It is putting a lot of things together. I think this is a really important moment in the course where we are trying to learn how to analyze functions. Now, some people are saying, well, I'm not interested in that. You need to make the course more interesting. You know, that I'm trying to do that. I think it is interesting, but you're taking this course for some reason, for some major you're trying to get into, whatever it might be. That's not for me to assess, but I'm trying to get you to learn how to analyze functions. And if you want to do better, you have to buy into that a little bit. So now just some general commentary. It's starting to get negative. I don't mean that. This is how I don't want to change how I do things. I don't want to have a rigid way I reply to students. I don't want to be negative. I'm fighting that all the time. People are saying, oh, you just have to tell them no. I want us to have I feel like that's not appropriate for this discussion of learning. But, our lives could be a lot better if we could fix the tone. So an example of this, somebody posted on the discussion board kind of a long thing of WebAssign's not accepting my answer. It's frustrating. My answer's right. I know it's right. And then when I look at their work, I realize their answer's not right. So I kind of wonder about the tone. I'm not trying to criticize that student directly. This is a great example. This happens all the time. But I think when you use the discussion board, realize you're talking to me. And so if you're frustrated, see if you can articulate it in a different way. See if you can express some of your work, show a little bit of it. I'm here to help. This is what I'm trying to do. All right. If it makes you feel better, I make less than a high school teacher. I do this because I want to help you. So I want you to communicate with me in a way that just says, I'm frustrated with this. You can say that, but then say, here's what I've tried. Can we work together on this? I think that'll make things better, and that'll be more successful in your other courses. So I just want to think about the tone on the discussion board. Sometimes people say, we need some more practice with this, and kind of are demanding in tone. And I want it to be more collaborative. I think that's going to be more effective. Even if you aren't going into math, if you're going into business, this communication piece is important. And I want you to be successful communicating with your supervisors, with your other instructors. Going along with this, attendance in this course is a little low. In this course, we have students of many different backgrounds, some that have done lots of math, some that haven't done as much. So I try in the class to not require attendance in the same way I might as in some of my other calculus courses. But when I'm there, I'm trying to do problems like the homework. I'm trying to help you. I'm wandering around. Maybe I can do better. It's something I just stress over all the time. But I need a little bit back. So when I'm asking for some help, and I say, here's a problem with the homework, do you want to see it? I need to hear a little bit back. That would be helpful. In my other classes, that comes naturally. Students come and ask questions, but in this class, it's not quite the same. And on Friday, I had like 4 or 5 students just get up and leave, and then I was like, oh, is everything all right? And they didn't say anything back, and then another group left, and maybe I'm just not communicating well, but that affects me. It affects all the students in the class, and so I just want to discuss it directly. How can I help you? How can we avoid that sort of communication and really disrespect to me and your classmates? It matters. I'm there to help you. If we want to do something different, let me know on the discussion board if you want me to use the class time differently. I have a few students that said, well, last quarter the course was much easier. The instructor told us exactly what was going to be on every single problem. This is not the same course. This is the course that follows it. It's not going to be the same. It doesn't matter what that was. You now know. You've been a month and a half into this course. I think I've been pretty direct about what's going to be on the various pieces. And so I think that argument has to kind of go away. I've made a lot of adjustments to sort of match things up better, and a lot of people did better on the exam. I got good feedback on the exam reflection. Thank you for those of you that did it. And so I want to move past those arguments and say, hey, I have a lot of things built into the grade where you can definitely do better. Let's not try to blame the course or the structure or the exam. Let's get past that and try to be constructive. Okay, so that's an important tone piece. And it really is disruptive if you're standing up and leaving, when other students are trying to work and learn. And if what I'm doing in class is not helpful, what could I do instead? And I'm going to think about this. But there is a note to be made that when I teach my other courses, the calculus, and the last time I taught Math 112, students come, so something has changed, and I don't know what I'm doing differently. All right, so the last thing is email. So probably this weekend I got about 20 to 30 emails of this sort. That's notable because in a course like last term when I had 480 students in calculus, I probably would get like 4 or 5 emails. So there's something bigger about this course, this business math course where I have 240 students, where I'm getting so many of these. I don't know if it's because I'm more open or what, but a lot of students asking for extensions on homework and giving kind of these. And so that's one where if we check the policies on my page, you can see that I already have that built in. So we can avoid some of those emails. So a lot of people asking for rescheduling of quizzes, even though I have a policy already laid out for that. All of these things, I have policies for handling like 80 to 90%. Now, a lot of my colleagues say you should just say, go read the syllabus. But I find that doesn't lead to a nice discussion with me and a student, so I carefully respond. I look up the student's record. I'm trying to interact with you, but I need a little bit back. How are ways you can help me out? Those of you that are with me in this fight for everyone to be more successful. I want your money to be well spent. I want you to reach your goals. You don't have to love my course or love me, but I want us to work collaboratively. One way you can help is if I answer your question on the discussion board, let me know it was helpful. Let me know I've answered your question. A lot of times I take time replying and there's just, nobody replies. Or if you have a question, check if I've already answered it. You can go to 12.3, 12.4, and you can see we've already had kind of a back and forth discussion. If you have a follow-up question, explain what the follow-up question is. And help each other out. You are not alone. You can go to the lab and you can look at the people around you. We have a lot of students doing very well in this course. Help them out. If you see someone asking a question on the discussion board, see if you can give them some advice. Or if you see they ask a question where I've already answered it somewhere else, maybe you can help direct them. That would make this community so much more enjoyable for all of us. And I think right now students are just focused on the fact that they didn't do that well on exam 1. Their grade is currently a 2.5. They think I'm being mean. And so there's this tone. Those students that have a 2.5 now could have their grade go above a 3.5 easily. I explained that when I posted my reflection video. So I know people maybe don't trust me, but I think you can trust me. I'm trying to prove to you you can. So for now, for everyone that's made it this far in the video, if you want to do well in this course, you would start by just watching my video on quiz 2, which tells you what's going to be there. Okay? And engaging. So my challenge to you and to me is to really, after this video, I don't want to post something like this again, but I want us to work together. I will promise I'm going to not. I had one message on the discussion board today where somebody was saying, can you please post stuff to help us with the quiz? And I replied and said, here's the materials. And I think I wasn't as positive as I've been trying to be, because I was a little bothered by the fact that they're asking me something I've already answered many times. So my challenge to myself is I won't do that again. I will always reply positively and try to work with you, but I need you to give me something back. Help me on the discussion board. Help each other out. Use constructive language when you're speaking with me. I've had a few students pull me aside or want to talk to me after class, and they're pretty pointed and direct about something being a little unfair. And I don't want our discussions to be like that. It shouldn't be like that. You all can still do very well in this course. I want to flip the script and get us working together. And I think I've got about 70% of you on board, but this 30% that's emailing me all weekend, let's adjust that a little bit. I am your ally. This university is a place that can be a key to your successful goals moving forward. But it's going to go better if you can communicate in an effective way with your instructors, with your colleagues, with your future employers. And I think that's something you can practice here. And I hope some of this helps. All right. Thanks for listening.